Hello, I'm Dr. Michele Fiala of Ohio University in Athens. Welcome to my new series, The Musical Oboist. Today I'm here to perform and teach the Etude in F-sharp major by Heinze that is featured on page 55 of the Voxman Selected Studies. A student in Iowa requested that I record this in advance of the Iowa All-State Auditions, but you may be auditioning on it in a different state or preparing it for a lesson. The first difficulty in this one is the key signature. Practice scales and warm-ups in the key of F-sharp major each day before practicing this. Play the scale slowly throughout the range of your instrument. Continue in this manner down into the low register of your instrument and back to tonic. Then practice the scales more quickly with your metronome. Try to bump up the tempo a little bit each day. Then play an F-sharp drone on a tuner and practice F-sharps, B naturals, and C sharps throughout the range of your instrument to tune them. This is the first, fourth, and fifth note of the scale. Hold each note as long as you need to tune it, and go up into the high register of your instrument and down into the low register and back to tonic. There are a couple of misprints in this piece. One is in the end of the 8th system, so look at the end of line 8 for me. There's a high E natural, and then the next E natural in that same beat 1 should also be natural. So that all of the E's in beat 1 are natural in that measure. And then in the second to last measure, there should be an A sharp to cancel the A natural from the chromatic scale. So that in that way you're not ending a major piece in a minor key with the A natural. It makes sense for the chromatic scale, but needs to be back to A sharp for the correct ending. Finger technique is difficult in this one. I suggest several practice techniques done with a metronome at a slower tempo than your performance tempo. Take the passage work slowly and chunk it into one dotted quarter note beat at a time, plus the downbeat of the next beat. So 7 notes at a time that overlap. I'm going to demonstrate in the 7th system because I needed to practice lines 7 and 8 a lot more than the other lines. So I'll start with my most difficult spot. And if I'd made a mistake in one of those chunks, I would have repeated it several times. If you can play it 3 times in a row without making a mistake, you can usually perform it correctly after that. Then you connect to 2 beats plus 1 note, so that's a full measure. Then 2 measures plus a note, and so on and so forth. Another way to practice this is in different rhythms. So you could start with long, short, long, short. When I do that, I take out the articulation and slur the entire thing. I'm trying to create a long, sustained line. And then I'll reverse it with short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. Don't be surprised if you have to do that one slower than the first one at first. We're not used to putting short notes on the beat. Then after you've practiced in all of these different ways, you'll start to combine into longer sections of the passage work and start to build up speed. But always make note of your most difficult spots, play them first in your practice session, and focus on them the most. And running through the piece is something that can be done toward the end of your practice session when you want to see how it goes as an entire unit, and maybe for a recorder or for a friend or family member who might make you a little bit nervous. Throughout the etude, as you're playing it, try to create as much dynamic contrast as possible using the dynamics that are written here by the composer and editor. And you can put on an F-sharp drone like we did in that warm-up exercise and have an F-sharp drone while you play the etude. Breathing can be challenging, so you may need to reach the downbeat and break a slur after a downbeat. If you find a resolution note on a downbeat in the passage work and then you want to catch a quick breath, you can do that. Also between these dia, dia, the groups of 3, you could breathe between those. You can slow down in the second to last line in the middle. And that way you will get a little bit more time to set up and have a good breath before the low Bs. Something like this. And however much time you take at the end of the cadence will give you more time before the next phrase. So I'll now perform this entire etude for you. Thank you for joining me today. Again, I'm Dr. Michele Fiala of Ohio University in Athens.